Okay, our next presenter will be Brenda Banbury. Brenda, are you live?
I think I'm live. Am I alive? Can everybody hear
No,
me?
I didn't say were you alive. I said, are you live? Okay, you're on.
I am live and alive. So first of all, I would like to say a big thank you to Jennifer Jones for emphasizing polio. So it's a great segue into two things I would like to talk about with regards to polio. Fundraising is one, and Jennifer just said we cannot stop putting money into Polio Plus. So to that end, I have put a challenge out to all the Rotarians in our district to you put up the money and I do the walking. So the challenge is that Rotarians will donate to Polio Plus, either online, to your treasurer, to your foundation chair, and I will walk 250 kilometers outside, outdoors, in the month of November. Now, our district governor nominee, Jean-Marc, is the adjudicator. So I report my kilometers to Jean-Marc. Rotarians report, clubs report to Jean-Marc in terms of the money raised. So where my skin is in this game is that if I don't walk the 250K, I will match all the contributions that Rotarians have made in the month of November. So it's not really hard to understand this whole process. And I am hoping that this will just be another way to raise money for polio. No, I'm not walking in January. This is November. That Rotarians will get on the bandwagon, raise money for polio. And the other thing I'd like to just make a comment on in terms of what Jennifer was saying is that we don't get to listen to her every day or very often or at all in terms of how what we have been doing to eradicate polio has also had a significant effect in terms of how the COVID pandemic is being managed. So for any clubs out there that would like, I have done a presentation. I did one to my club today, and I've also done one at Melfort. So if any of the clubs would like me to talk on Zoom in around the same kind of dimensions as what Jennifer did, I am available. So there's the message both ways. As I walk, you donate. If you would like me to speak to your club via Zoom with regards to the parallels between polio eradication and COVID, I am available. So if there's any questions, I would be happy to answer them.
Dan, it's Gail Marie. Can I just make a comment? I thank you very much, Brenda, for this challenge. And just to let Jennifer know, you had a previous challenge a few years ago in our district where Brenda said that she would get a tattoo if we raised enough money. And what was you started with a maximum and you went way over it. What was it, Brenda?
75,000 was the minimum and Canadian. And I believe the final tally was something like about 125,000 US.
Yeah. So she's a proven warrior fundraiser. So guys, get on the bandwagon. And just to let you know, our district Polio Plus fundraiser for October 2020, we challenged everybody, every Rotarian in the district to contribute $20.20 for Polio Plus. And we're at over 25,000 as of today. So that's great. Thanks, Brenda.
Thanks, Gail Marie. I'm glad you had those facts and figures there. It just goes to show. Are there any other questions for Brenda?
Well, I did notice a comment that I could walk to Kenora and then talk to you in Kenora, but that's a little bit beyond my 250K.
It is. I understand that. Okay, thank you very much.
Okay, I want to say thank you very much, Jennifer, for your leadership, and I know working with Brenda on polio the past few years, she is a lady you do not say no to when we're raising money for polio. She dumped all the receipts on me one time because she was off and running in another direction the day after the conference when we raised, I think at that conference, over $3,000 for polio. So it was a pleasure to do the receipt because she did the work and I did the paperwork, and it's a team effort. But anyway, what I wanted to talk about tonight was, because I wasn't too sure what the other two speakers are going to say, which is why I said God go last. But I really want to talk to our members about where our money has gone over the last number of years, and where we need to go probably into the future. So you can flip to the next slide, please, Patty. Okay, this is just looking at, can you go to the top of the slide? Or maybe you
I have.
add some
Oh,
global
shoot.
grants. It should be started with contributions to annual program funds.
You can't see that? Sorry.
Oh, you got the, you're on the second half of the first slide. So
I can't get it down. I'm sorry, Bob.
and that's
Patty, if
gone
you want to
to global.
unshare, I can bring it up here.
Okay, thanks, Susan. Told you we're a team.
We have time.
But anyway, what I did is a while ago is I went back and looked at where we were 10 years ago, and 10 years ago, 2010, 11, we raised 175,000. This is all in US dollars. Because we've been in the interesting exchange rates the last number of years. But for me, the two things is the per capita and our membership. When 10 years ago, we had 1,707 members. 5 years ago, basically, we dropped down to 1,491. Just last year went 1,307, and this year, unfortunately, we started at 1,220. We're starting to rebuild, but our per capita has dropped a little bit, and so between loss of members and our per capita, we are actually going to have fewer dollars to use in our district for the district grants, and also for global grants. We've got some clubs in our district that have been very good on all of our clubs that participated in the district grant funds. Of course, we're starting the grant certification next week. But we've been able to, all the dollars we've had allocated, we've been able to spend without difficulty. In fact, we've had 1 year in the past where we had to turn people down. But just the last 2 years, last year we had 46,512 US, which funded grants for 18 scholarships, the post-secondary, 21 projects, and 28 youth programs, primarily RILA, but also the inbound student youth exchange mandatory events. This past year, when we started out, we were going to have lots of RILA, but unfortunately COVID came along, and so the dollars were shifted from our youth programs into projects. And actually the projects are a little bit larger this year, and so we had 16 clubs asked and were approved for scholarships, and we have 25 projects, a lot of them related to COVID, and especially into the food programs to help our food banks, but more importantly was to help our students in the schools who are in some of our poorer areas and not always getting sufficient foods, but senior housing renovations, summer reading camps, school breakfast, weekend food programs. So we have a lot of those, but you notice that this 2 years ago we had 46,000. This year we have 48,000, but next year, the next 2 years, actually, we're going to be in around the $31,000. So that's a significant drop. And so really my plea would be that, you know, we need for our Rotarians to contribute to the annual fund so that we can have dollars come back to our district for the district grants and our global grants. We go to the next slide on the global grant. this is just showing where we're at this point. I think, as Jennifer said, it takes a lot of work to do a global grant, but the effort is always worth it in the end because of what the grants do. But currently, we have 2 global grant applications in draft, and Rotary Club of Nipawin is our first club in our district to sort of have the reverse. They are the host club for a First Nations Indigenous project with our sponsoring club district being 4250. We're in Guatemala, where we have a lot of grants, global grants, district grants in that district, and so they've asked to be able to reciprocate. So that's a good one. Sioux Lookout is starting a grant. The Rotary Club of Winnipeg has a global grant at the authorization stage, just about ready to go. Kenora is another one that's in the submittal stage and just waiting for the final approval. We've got 19 global grants approved and underway. So this tells me that a lot of clubs, and what I've done is just show that Brenda doesn't not only work for chasing us for polio, but her club Saskatoon North has 2 global grants in progress at the moment. Saskatoon and Wasson, Saskatoon Riverside, Moose Jaw Wakamo. Regina Eastview is another one that we've got 2 on the go. Kenora, Winnipeg. I have to say, Stringy Reddy in Winnipeg has got his club really moving, and he's got 4 projects on the go right now. So hats off to Stringy for all the work he does, not only globally, but what he's doing with the HIP program in Winnipeg, and really hats off to Stringy for that. We also have some of our clubs that, because of personal contact, are participating in global grants sponsored by other districts, and that's a good also. But since 2013, we've completed 4 ambassadorial scholarships, 2 vocational training, Ethiopia and Guatemala, 7 district global grants, and 11 project grants. And I'm really happy with the support that I get in the district global grants, that we've been able to always have our grants completed on time, and I have the next one all ready to go. And a big thanks to the Rotary Foundation, because Renee Riley is our contact, and she's just been amazing in helping with our district global grants. So we're now going to move into the 21-22 year, and we'll give you a lot more for all of you that are registered for the grant certification webinars. We'll be giving you a lot more on what's happening in the coming year. So with that, if there are questions, be more than happy to answer.
Pat, you have any questions for Bob in the chat?
Not that I can see.
Okay. Well, Bob, thanks very much. I wanted you specifically to speak to the issue of facing our district in the coming years, as far as district designated funds and grant monies. I wanted you to emphasize that, and I really appreciate that. I think, we're not going to be able to do what we did, 30 years ago, but we should be able to do.
Well, I think if everybody, all of our members, and we all increased our giving just a little bit, that goes a long way. And I know in our district, we also have the Ripple Effect program. We have the Shelter Box program. They're both started in our district running, and it's, it's kind of tough. Rotarians have to make some decisions on where they're allocating their dollars. But, the work that the foundation does and what we can do locally with the funds that are coming back, and also globally, anybody that's been involved in any of those grants know the challenges, but also the satisfaction of helping people. So I do hope that people will consider the foundation and Rotary as a charity of choice. I think, because Jennifer alluded to that our stewardship of the funds is we're second to none in terms of the stewardship and looking after the dollars that are entrusted to us. And for you guys that are on the district board, you know that I got a motion coming forward on Tuesday that we allocate $5,000 of DDF this year to polio plus, which actually, with all the matching from the World Fund and Bill and Melinda Gates, turns into about $30,000 US.
Well, that's gonna be good.
Free.
So I put that out tonight, so you can't not vote for it on Tuesday.